Alright now guys, let's get you some help on basically being able to, after the NBA All-Star break here, I'm shooting this film on the 26th of February. It's obviously already been after that date, but going forward there, in case you're struggling just to let you know for now, in any daily fantasy sport, so that includes, maybe you're struggling with the NBA lineups and just entering, low-end contests, 25 cents and a dollar, so forth in NBA, and you're not getting the results that you want, you'll need to take some time and become more of an expert, obviously, in NBA. But creating optimal lineups in the meantime here as well, as you can do so here just by opting in and subscribing to the page. I want to let you know first, over at dfsfreereport.com, you'll see either this page here, where you can opt in, you can watch a video for the NFL if you like to see that one, and how I go about doing that and what tools I use and so forth and strategies. How do I start to begin and look at and create lineups? And so that you could also do the same over here, though, as a more updated version of what I basically have going on, is that actually that would be wealthyfantasyfootball.com. Now, don't let the football throw you off, because I do cover focus on season-longs, strategies for winning in DFS, as we'll even get into baseball later on as well. And so what I want to show you, though, for now is, like, as if I said, I will try to do some NBA tips and help, but there's more of a methodology in actually winning at this time from what I found in looking at NHL hockey leagues, for example, such as on FanDuel. Interestingly, also, I'm having quite a bit of success using very similar, if not the same strategy, over at draft.com. I'm planning to write a review on how I've done some winning there in the NHL version of it, and I won an NBA as well, but I'll show you guys some of that in another following video. So keep up to date on my site there at wealthyfantasyfootball.com, and also look to see that if you can subscribe to my YouTube page here, that would be great. Of course, that being a great thing. So now getting into those strategies specifically in the NHL, because every sport has its own way of, best way of practicing, and there's not that you can, just do your own thing and do what you want, because there's a certain strategy that you need to use, but the order of things of which you do them may be differently. So if that makes sense, some people, for example, look at the lines on a given night in hockey and look at picking those teams with the highest money line lines and so forth, and projected implied point total. Similarly, like in baseball, perhaps, but this may do that in different order, or may first go over here and, using, for example, the draft dashboard optimizer, look at not so much by position, but it flipped over to the NBA. So you can see some of these guys going on right here, right now. You can see like the recent injury status changes and player stock changes as well, depth chart, positional moves taken by NBA teams. But what I was focusing on was NHL, obviously post NBA and NHL All-Star as well. So what you can do is look at the studs. Sometimes it's very similar to this right here, which is the top DFS plays as well. But to qualify as a stud, this is very important to understand this, that you're a low-risk, proven player. So if you can get a player that has lower variance, as you'll see, and I'll explain regularly on my site at wealthyfantasyfootball.com, to give you a list of guys that to help you. Mainly, my goal is to help you get an understanding of how you can, eventually do this on your own and create and gain success. And then patiently winning over time, you'll see that your earnings, perhaps compared to, today's date, for example, in 2-3 months down the line, will improve, and you'll have a larger winning percentage and a larger payout total, obviously, from what you invest in it. So what I'll do is I'll start to see and take a player such as with Well, first of all, I'm already noticing here that there's a great potential for a stack tonight. And the stack in the NHL would include, in fact, guys on the top line of Philadelphia, such as this guy here, who's a great matchup. 27th ranked defense in Montreal, which is interesting, especially if you know anything about NHL hockey. He averages 15.3 per game, and he's fairly hot right now as well. Recent, really nice performances over 25 points last couple games, including a 34-point game. So he's going to give you low risk but high upside opportunity here. That's what we need. Same goes with McKinnon for Colorado. Similarly going for, like I say, with other Philadelphia players. But you don't want to just jam in these guys, for example, you can stack up to 4 on a FanDuel DFS lineup. You don't want to just jam in there Gurox, Goatsafir, and Patrick, because you want to look on down the line and find out which guys are actually on top line and perhaps, if you can, top power play. And so I would pick instead Courtier, and I would look for and actually find the next guy, I'm pretty sure is Voracek. And you can verify that with your couple different sites, but you can get a pretty good idea to estimate that. It's on this site, dailyfaceoff.com, and just go to the line combinations. You just go right here. If you're not already on this part, line combination, click on the team logo, as you need to learn, the league logo, of course, and figure that out. And then just click on the team. So here we go, Philadelphia. And I'm already giving you a majority of my lineup for tonight, it appears, because of this favorable situation. As long as the Flyers have a decent money line, according to this other site, of course, Roto Grinders. We'll just check that also. And then we fill out the rest of our lineup. We can use Position Optimizer, as is probably known and showed on other videos for DFS Fantasy for today, if you're looking through YouTube and so forth. And if you happen to see another one like this using the draft dashboard, that's great. But you don't really want to focus on using the Position Optimizer on draft dashboard. You can get access to that as well along with my free report if you opt into my page to be able to do that here. You'll be able to get access. It'll offer you this draft dashboard, same tool that I regularly use, because otherwise you'll be going in there every day and trying to compare. Well, this guy is 3,500 and he looks like a great deal. But you won't know that to verify just by looking through on the site itself, FanDuel. And the reason is because this site here gives you their price, gives you their optimized ability, or what's called dash rank algorithm. So if you look at all the things here included in this, the stats, the recent performance, the value of this particular guy for 3,500 could be good, although here's the downside. And the red indicates that he's on only 4.8 a game. Why is that? Well, you got to do a little bit further research. The last 3 games, as it shows here, he scored 18, 15, and 12. And why is that? Well, all you got to do is look to see overall, maybe his line moved up. Maybe his status of the depth chart changed. And he's getting some good performances perhaps on that line and playing in some favorable matchups as well, such as versus Vancouver tonight. So really, what I'm trying to do here is get you a good idea now of guys that will play, obviously, as well on the 27th is the date we're looking at for today. I do know that this will update tonight late, early morning, to where you can see these updated changes, and that's what you need to check to verify before setting your lineups. So I'm showing you the easiest way. I know this guy will play on the 27th, tomorrow. So I can almost say for sure, but let's try to see to make sure according to the browse teams option. Washington, who they're going to play tomorrow. Let's see. Or you can, of course, just do a Google search for the matchups for the 27th. since I am shooting this a day ahead of time for Washington, which is the Capitals. So right now it's not even showing their matchup yet. However, you can see that just by looking at a general schedule here. For tomorrow, they're hosting the Senators at home, which is a really good indication. Senators is not a good team. This is a team-oriented DFS sport. So you want to consider that in looking at these matchups here. So I can really assure you that I'm going to take him tomorrow, at least in one of my lineups, Ovechkin. He's a winger. That's his position, I believe. All right, so, but getting back to, because I kind of go forth in a couple different directions, so just bear with me. The Flyers, that's the Philadelphia team line, just confirming Garax, Courtier, and Konensi. So if these teams are playing on the 27th, however, this is the 26th, but on the 26th here, this is a good pairing matchup to play versus that team that I believe that was Vancouver that's not ranked so well, against opposing offenses. And as we can see here, Courtier, Garax, and Voracek are also on the first power play unit. So that's especially important and powerful in looking at these lineups. And I had already set a lineup for today. But for tomorrow, the best thing I can tell you is, like I said, look at Washington, who you can, just in case this changes, come back here and check who Washington's front line you want to play versus that weaker team and weaker defense, as we'll go ahead and look for now. But, like I said, you can't put these things in stone. You got to check, perhaps at least, not so much as with NBA because it's not as difficult, but a few hours before the game is fine to verify these things. Washington, because a lot of times these don't really change much, but I'll tell you what you can also do is you can look at and you can listen to a particular podcast that will also keep and help you get updated to be aware of these things as you have to learn about, not only this line but many others in the league. Ovechkin, first line, Backstrom, and Wilson, and may also be good in the power play, except for Wilson on the power play, first unit for Washington. So what I'll do a lot of times is I'll substitute Wilson for another optimized best person at the winger position. And to show you that, of course, on the draft dashboard, the tool that I'm using, you can go to Position Optimizer. Because I'd rather put in someone, instead of stacking a whole 3-forward position, such as it is in the NHL, I'd rather take someone at that price range. If that's all I have to spend, or if I have more to spend left over some of my lineup, I'm going to take someone who's better. And then maybe I'll just stack a defenseman. There's 2 defensemen that you have in the lineup. Maybe I'll take a Washington defenseman, such as tomorrow being Orlov and Natskanen. I don't know how to pronounce it. Whoever's in the... No, actually Carlson. Carlson would play with the second line, but however, he's on the first play power play unit. So you may want to verify that, and you want to look at even the rankings. I'm not going to pull it in right now, but you can just Google search power play teams. I believe it's on like Fox Sports. It's a good place to find it. The top ranked percentage-wise power play teams and power play kill teams. So is this even worth playing, worrying about? You want to look up and research, and it doesn't take that long, just a couple minutes to look at the overall rankings of the power play. Now, how well a team performs versus the defensive power play unit performs. You'll see all that there. So it's just giving you some good estimations and ideas. But once again, it's easier than the NBA because, man, the NBA has a lot of things going on last minute that they don't notify you as injuries going on, and you lose for that day simply because of that. This, you have a lot more control. It's more team-oriented, and you don't have to be concerned so much about position optimizing, except when you just want to rather fill in the position where a player gets to average maybe 5 more points a game. Of course, it's going to be worth putting in there instead of like here. I'll just click on wing, per the provided given example, in that price range, let's say you just order it up, of course, a quarter into price range if you want here, right on this site. And boom, maybe I need, let's just give an example, someone that's 3,500 or less as a winger. Well, here's our options. Really, we've got Camo for Colorado, Raffle is probably a decent option, I'm sure, for Philadelphia with a good matchup. So we pick one of these guys. If we want to further stack Philadelphia, we can put one more player in there, and that on the lineup for today on the 26th. And then tomorrow, the 27th, even though there's no Washington player here as a winger, no problem. We can put in one of these guys tomorrow, if that was the case, even though this hasn't updated for tomorrow's date yet. So that's pretty much it. And you just change your slot here. It's a main 7 p.m. Make sure that's good for tomorrow as well. It's showing 5 games. And just getting you prepared for tomorrow, all right? And also confirm your starting goalies. You can do that here as well. And you can optimize your starting goalies, try to figure out which guys are good on the money line, likely to get a win. You know, you get, I forget, 6 or 12 points for a win for a winning goalie. All right, so just glad to help you out with all that today. And use your draft dashboard, position optimizer. Keep checking back here. Subscribe to this and as well as the list, either at wealthyfantasyfootball.com or at the dfsfreereport.com. See you guys later.